Hey Stace, how are you? What are you up to, Stace? Did Max go to bed eventually? The reason I'm looking at here because I ain't got my glasses and I can't see the comments on the phone. So obviously I can see the comments on here, so that'll be better. We'll wait for a few people. I'm good, thank you, Stace. Very good. Pulling my hair out because I can't get out. Normally on a Sunday morning I'd go do a bit of shooting, whether it be clay shooting or vermin control. But unfortunately with this lockdown, can't go. So I'm pulling my hair out, as you may say. I'm glad Max went to bed eventually. Yeah, it's hard being stuck in. I'm an outside guy, so obviously working outside most of the time, and then obviously shooting activities, and then obviously walking. So yes, I'm struggling to occupy my mind, let's put it that way. But the good thing is I'll end up with loads of videos ready for the channel, so that's a bonus. Nick's scroll sawing was cool last night. As he put in, I haven't seen any pictures up on Instagram this morning, so I take it, did he not? I had to go before it was finished, but did he not get it finished completely? Pardon me. Pieces finished, drying now. Alright. Look forward to seeing him, Stace. Look forward to seeing him. Obviously everybody must be asleep. There's nobody else coming in the chat, it's just me and you, Stace. I will message Nick to arrange to come on one of his lives one weekend. So I just need to look at the calendar and see when we've got a weekend free. I don't know whether we're free at the end of April. If so, I'll message him if he hasn't got anybody obviously already booked in. If not, later on in the year, it's not a problem. But as long as I know, because we have a few things going on a Saturday evening, so sometimes a little bit difficult. But I will definitely arrange to get on his live, which I will enjoy. Now I've got a bit more confidence, I'm quite happy to come on. But beforehand, I was a little bit dubious. Yeah, I agree. That was quite good last night. I didn't get to see Scott's cannon. Did he fire it in the end, or did he? Is it going to be a later thing? Cool. I'll have to watch the rewatch the live. Be good to see it. So the reason I'm doing a live really is just basically to have a bit of a chat. Maybe show people around the workshop if they want to have a look. Basically just to pass a bit of time. I know Dale's on at 2 o'clock, so it's always the case. Yeah, so I know Dale's on at 2 o'clock and then Chris Fisher's on at 2:30. So I thought I'd jump on now. I know it's a bit early for some people, but yeah. So I mean the support I get on the channel is really, really good, but I don't put everything on the channel that I make. So I know I've only recently just made a few pens, and obviously I've only put one of those up on the channel, which is the one I've done for Leona. But I had to go at making a milli put one the other day with the turquoise and white, which turned out quite nice. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It's got like a little mottle effect in it. Don't know if the light does it justice in here. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. I must admit, I didn't think I'd enjoy turning pens like I do. Thank you. I didn't think I'd enjoy turning pens like I do. It's one of those things that doesn't take a lot of thinking power, and you end up with something really nice out of it. So yeah, I've done that one. I've done a few other resin ones as well. I've made quite a few blanks for people who wanted them. So yeah, turned out really well. I don't know if you see this on Instagram. I made this little base plate just to I'm going to try and sell a few just to make a few quid back for the materials that I use. So I made this plaque just to sort of take photographs, just to show them off really. So I've been doing that. I had a play with the laser engraver as well. I see Steve Tydell last year before Maker Central engrave onto, onto some mirrors, and I thought it'd be quite cool to do a mirror with my logo on it and then illuminate it from the back so the logo illuminates. So I messaged Steve and asked him a few questions, and was really grateful that he replied back to me and gave me some really good information. So I managed to find an old broken mirror. So I'm going to illuminate this from the back. I don't know if you can see it. See. So what I've done is this is just a trial piece. So I've done that on the mirror, and it came out really, really, really well. Nice and clear. Clarity's really good. So I'm really happy with that. So what I want to do now is I've got this mirror here that is, it's not very big. It's an old mirror I took out of a frame that my daughter was throwing away. So it's 240mm by 240mm. So my plan is to do my SK Krafts, don't be jealous, my SK Krafts logo in there, and then I'll make a surround for it, and then I'll put some coloured LEDs in the back, so it should, the logo should illuminate with the colours, which I'm quite looking forward to do. So I'm going to try and crack that out the next few days. I may do it as a video. I'm not sure yet, not 100% sure yet, but we'll see, and we'll see what happens. But no, I'm now getting the hang of using the laser engraver a bit more confident with it. It used to make me a little bit nervous to start with, because obviously the laser is quite a dangerous thing. I've managed to sort out the extraction now, so we're not getting smoked out in the workshop when we're using it, so it's a bonus. Hiya David, how are you? How you doing, sir? Hope you're well. Yeah, I was just talking about a project I want to try and do in the next few days, David. As you know, I've got the laser engraver, and I've had a bit of a play with putting etching on the laser engraver. So my plan is to use this mirror here to do my SK Craft logo. Hello Leona, how are you? I'm going to hang on for a few minutes because I'm going to just keep repeating myself. So hope everybody's well. Hope you're all great. Hope you're all safe, especially safe. I hope you all got enough toilet roll as well. So yeah, so I hope everybody's good. Welcome, you know, thank you for joining me. The reason I'm doing this is just basically to have a bit of a chat, and having a bit of a chat to break the boredom really, because like I said to Stace earlier, normally on a Sunday morning I'm out clay shooting or shooting, but obviously with the lockdown situation we can't do that, because I don't know where you are, but around here the police are patrolling and asking people where they're going to and from, so it's not worth the hassle. And I've cleaned all the cars, cleaned the van, I've even cleaned my daughter's car inside and out. I've cut the grass 3 times in a week. I've treated, creosoted, use 6 gallons of creosote on, or wood treatment on the fences and the workshops, or the workshop and the shed. So it's a bit windy out there today as well, so, and cold. We've got quite a bit of wind coming today, so I thought I'd have a day in the workshop, had a bit of a tidy up, and then I thought, do you know what, let's get on the web and have a bit of a chat and bring a bit of joy to each other's life, because it's not nice being solitude in all on our own. I know I've got the family, but that's still not the same as a bit of freedom and fresh air. So anyway, now, right, so future project is I've been playing with the laser engraver on this. I'm not going to use this logo. This is just a logo I was playing with. So I've got this piece. Yeah, you're right there, David. You're right there. I'm looking for, I've never thought I'd be to a stage where I'm looking for things to do. I always thought I had enough jobs to do. Last Tuesday I spent all day splitting wood. So I've got enough wood now split to last me 2 years. The Wednesday I spent all day cutting wood because I took loads of conifers out of the back garden and I kept all the main trunks, and I spent all day Wednesday cutting those ready to go on the workshop fire. So I've got enough wood there to last me maybe nearly 1.5 years, 2 years. So I've got plenty of wood to burn. So yes, I'm now getting to a stage where I'm looking for projects and jobs to do. So I've got this piece of glass here that came out of an old mirror that my daughter was throwing out. It's 240mm by 240mm. So what I want to do is etch my SK Craft logo in the middle, and then make a timber surround for it, put some coloured LEDs in the back, and then illuminate that. Whether I do it battery power or whether I do it mains, I'm not quite sure yet. So that's a project I want to do in the next week or so. I've also promised a friend of mine I'm going to do a house plaque for his mum and dad while I've got no work at the moment, because obviously we're in lockdown. So I'm going to do him a plaque for his mum and dad's house. I've been promising him for maybe 3 or 4 months to do that, so while I've got the time. So I've done the printout for it. I've just got to stick it onto the wood and then router it out. But I'm going to do a video of that because I haven't done, other than the Maker Central plaque I made, I haven't actually done any routering work. I know it's Richard Morley's spec of routering, but I use a router quite a lot for work, because obviously doing kitchen worktops and this, that and the other. So I thought I'd do a little bit of router work, and so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to fill it, I think I'm going to flood fill it with resin, and then sand it all back, and then I may, rather than varnishing it, I may coat it in resin to give it a bit more of a hard wearing for the winter, because where they live is on the coastline, so there's quite harsh weather down there, so I may do that. So they're a couple of projects I've been doing, or I'm in the process of doing next week. Also, I've got to repair my lawnmower because I cleaned all the deck on it the other day and found a hole in it. So obviously, I thought that was mud, but it wasn't. It was rust. So I put a hole in my deck of my lawnmower. So I've got to repair that as well. So I've got a few jobs for this week. Who's this? Hi John, how are you? So yeah, I've got a few jobs for this week to crack out, and also I'm in the process of doing, I'll show you on here, I'm in the process, can you see that? My wife obviously works in a school, and obviously they're still got a cover because they're classed as key workers, but she's only doing a couple of days a week. And also she thinks now they're going to have to work for Easter to cover for the support workers. But with the kids, they're just doing crafts. They're not educating because obviously there's not many kids in, so they're just doing crafts. So what she asked me to do was to they got some trees and they want to make them into like fairy houses. So she's asked me to do some fairy doors and windows on the laser engraver. So this was a play around I had the other day. Obviously it needs to be bigger than this. So she's agreed to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this is A5, so I'm going to make this the size of this board, which I think is about 140 by, well, this is 150 by 210 I believe. So we're going to make it 140 by 180, and then I'm going to cut it out on the scroll saw, and then the kids can paint them and stick them on these little trees. So that's something I'm going to do as well. And I like doing that thing because it's for the kids and it gives the kids something to do. So I downloaded the image from the internet, and then I used the Inchcape software to give a bimap of it, and then transferred over to the laser engraver. So that's all ready to go. So that's all done. Let's just read the comments. Hi Nick, how are you? How are you, Mike? Hope you're well. Yeah, so I might print these off today, or engrave these today, and then cut these out tomorrow. So that's another little project. So the projects are building up. I just obviously, if we've got 3 months of this, I don't want to crash them all out and be done soon. So yeah, so that's that. So if you guys want me to show you around the workshop, I will, but you need to let me know whether you do or you don't. It's not perfectly tidy, I will warn you, but it's acceptable. So if you want to have a tour around, and I'll just go through some of the gear I use for work and the channel, then just let me know. Hi. How high tech is that? So John, are you saying that you had to draw it out, or are you asking me how I drawed it out? So it's a yes for the tour. Let me just see what John has to say, and then we'll start the tour. Don't get excited though, it's nothing special. So if you're asking me, John, what I did is I went on the internet. Hiya cuz, how are you? Oh right, okay. Yeah, I don't draw by hand. I can draw, not very well, but I can draw. But for me, it's easier to go. I don't know if I've still got the image up here. It's easier to go on the internet, on Google, and just download an image that you want, and then you use, or I use, a piece of software called Inchcape, where you can separate the layers. It's easier. There's loads of tutorials on YouTube for it, but when you're doing lasering and CNCing, you need to do what they call is a bimap. So so you have to do what they call a bimap. So then when you do a bimap, you then separate it all layers, and it sounds technical, but it's not. Once you do it 3 or 4 times, you get to learn how to do it. So anyway, so is everybody is up for the tour then? So what I'll do is I'll grab the camera off the tripod, I'll flip it, I'll start in the garage, because that's obviously where I do some of the assembly work and where a lot of my big machinery is. So we'll start in the garage, and then we will go through there. So I'm not going to be able to see your comments for the time being, because I'm going to flip the phone. I will be able to see the comments. Yes, I will be able to see the comments. So I'll try and answer as I go through. So I'll take my time. If anybody's got any answers or questions, give me a shout. If anybody wants to know what models they are, or if anybody wants to know what models they are or what specific machine they are, just ask and I'll tell you, because a lot of machines are still available. So, and they are good bits of kit. So I'll flip the phone around. Right, so garage. So we'll start with the table saw. You all saw me obviously restore the table saw. So here it is in its glory, and I've used it quite a few times actually. The only thing I want to redo on it is I might take the blade guard off. The reason being is when you push your wood through, sometimes when your wood's got a little bit of a twist in it, it rubs on the guard on the back there, and it makes it hard to get it through, and it tries to kick back on the blade. So I might take the guard off of that. I'm not 100% sure. I might try and play around with that. I might have a play around with that, see if I can improve that. Either polish it up or put some Teflon on it or whatever, but I'm going to have a prove it. So anyway, that's the table saw. I've got down there my plasma cutter and MIG welder. So as you can see, I don't come out very often. Under there, I've got all my plastering gear for work. On here is the stuff I keep bringing home from work, all my wood rack. So there's like skirt and architraves, offcuts and all that in there. So over this side again, so bandsaw, little SIP bandsaw, not a bad little bandsaw. The only trouble is it's not really big enough for what I want now. So as you can see, that's only a little 10-inch. So that's my next major investment. I'd like to go for the record power. Is it Serbrant? Is it Serban? I don't know, whatever it is, the bigger bandsaw, but that's my next investment. So I put loads of cupboards in the workshop. I've got one there, and then 3 along this wall here. You can't get to that one because there's all wood in front of it. So in this one is all my sanders, just my bench, just a cheap planer that I keep in the workshop. That's the one, Leona, thank you. Cheap planer I keep in the workshop because I don't do a lot of planing in the workshop. Little tiny 2-inch belt sander, another sander up there, so quite a few sanders. And then I keep a few other like cabinet legs in there for when I make cabinets and all things like that. So that's in that cupboard. My Makita compound saw, it's just a compound saw, it's not a slide saw. I've had this since the day I started my business 15 years ago. Really good piece of kit. She's seen better days, but I don't want to get rid of it because it's so good, and it's absolutely perfectly square, which is what I like about it. So if I'm cutting architrave or miters, I know they're absolutely perfectly square. So I'm not going to get rid of that, and it's quite a big blade actually. So that'll cut through nearly 4 inches deep by about 140 mil across. So really good. Obviously dust extraction. Dust extraction runs all the way around the workshop or the garage down to an extractor there. So there we've got in this cupboard, obviously my clamps. Then we've got more clamps, even more clamps, more clamps. So more clamps and glue, sander, spare sanding pads, planers, just small saws. Other than that, that's about it. On there I've got my squares and some spare circular saw blades. Saw, some blanks I'm working on. Screws, I put that shelf up the other day, to be honest, because all the screws were on the bench, so I just put that up the other day just to stack them up there. I'm in the process of making a cyclone, so makes life a lot easier. So hopefully that'll be a next future thing. Pocket jig kit up the top there. More screws. Blue roll holder. Right, in these cupboards, there's not a lot in these cupboards. I've just got some router bits in this cupboard, so there's nothing else in there. And in this cupboard I have my dowel jig and all the guides around the corner there, so there's not a lot in that cupboard either. And then the other cupboard is empty because I can't, like I say, I can't get to it at the moment because of all the stuff in front of it. So then I have my record power chipper, which is absolutely brilliant. It'll suck the skin off a rice pudding. It's absolutely brilliant. So, and then underneath there I have the record power, if I can get to it, the record power thicknesser planer, which again is another awesome piece of kit. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. If you treat it well, the blades will last forever for it, but obviously if you're putting dirty, crappy wood through it, that just blunts the blades as quick as anything. So all my Hoover bags ready for the fire. So under here is my Craig, dusty, my Craig router table. Absolutely awesome router table. It's got like a little ball pin deck on it, so the material just glides over the top of it. It came with the stand. It's got the small adjustment. I ain't going to pull it all out because it's all stuff in front of it. It's got a small adjustment gauge on the side, so you can alter within millimeters. I made a cabinet for the bottom of drawer unit to put all my router bits in it and all loads of other stuff in it. So it just connects straight. I made a port for it. No, it's not a Bosch router. It's a screw fix router. I did have my Trent one on it, but it used to get a lot of dirt down on the bearing, and I didn't want to damage the bearing, so I bought a cheap router just to put on it. So once it's joined to the chipper, like I say, you don't get any chippings come off it at all. It's absolutely brilliant. And like I say, I really don't use it enough. I should use it a lot more. So then obviously dust extraction down there, a few bits of wood under there, and my generator there for when I'm doing work in the middle of nowhere when we've got no electric. So other than that, that's the garage, and the most important thing in the workshop, the fire, which I made out of an old propane bottle. So that's the garage. And then I've got an area between the garage and workshop, which is just like a store area really, and with my compressor down there, which is a bit of a pain to get to sometimes to check the oil on it, but hey ho, we have to do what we've got to do. So then we go into the first part of the workshop. So I love to have things in drawers that are marked. When I was in the engineering game, it just makes life so much easier to know exactly where things are. So that's all storage, that's all nuts, bolts, washers, bits for when I do the cars and that. So then I've got my mechanics toolboxes, well, mechanics and engineering toolboxes with all my stuff in them. So it's anything from chisels, punches, down to hammers, electrical gear, saws. These are all my specialist screwdrivers, Torx bits, and any like little hooks and that. That's the beefy kit where you've got monkey wrench, grips and pry bars and all that. Then all my taps, dies, stocks for tapping and drilling. That's all specialist stuff for individual jobs, whether it be brake flaring, steel flaring, whatever. And then in the bottom one again, all specialist stuff that I've had over the years for doing cars. And again, these ones are full as well. I'll just go through a couple of them. Tin snips, hole saws, files, most important things, hammers. You need hammers when you work on cars. Spanners, some sockets, more sockets, and even more sockets. Screwdrivers, Allen keys. Look at all the Allen keys you get out of kits. Do we really need to keep getting Allen keys out of kits? These are all my measuring gear, the verniers, calipers, all my precision measuring stuff. This is a lot of air tools and specialist tools again, where obviously spring clamps, timing tools for the cars, different bits like that. And then in the bottom one, it's all the heavy air tools, impact guns, air drills and things like that. So other than that, that's mainly what's in those drawers, all those cabinets. So that's, like I say, that's all my mechanic stuff. This part of the workshop I try and use as my clean shop. The reason being is because when you're trying to assemble stuff, you don't want dirt all the time. So obviously workbench where I mix paints and all that. The monster bowl. I did this bit the other week, basically because the laptop was on the bench and it was a pain in the ass to keep moving about. So I had an old monitor, so I put the monitor on the wall, so that's a nice little setup. And the good thing is now I've run the cable for the laser engraver all the way around the back of the bench. So because the laser engraver was sat here, so it was taking up the bench, so I've moved that, so that's a lot better now. So anyway, this is, like I say, this is my clean area. This is where I store, oh, get your finger off the camera, Stephen. This is where I store my routers, my biscuit joiner, circular saw, or a circular saw, one of those Evolution ones that cut through steel, so great piece of kit. Air nail gun, soldering irons, drill bits, all my paints for when I'm touching up and repairing the cars, because when you got women driving you need to touch up your cars. Sorry Leona and Stace. So I made this the other night. It's a filter system for the laser engraver because it was filling the workshop up with fumes. So I bought some carbon filters, and I made some filters for this box, and it's working really well. It's stopping the workshop getting full of smoke, so it's great. And I've got a 125mm household extractor which draws the air through the filter box there into here, and then filters through and goes out here. And then what I did at the front of that, don't know if you can see, there you go, I got two old computer fans, tower fans, to put on the front there, so it gives me a little bit more draw from the bottom of the laser and shoots it into the duct, and then the extractor sucks it through. So that's working really well at the moment. I'm really pleased with that. Again, I found that idea on the internet or on YouTube, so working really well. So just some shelves around the top of the workshop with all my stuff on. I did have a bit of a clear out of here the other day because this was just packed full of paperwork. So that under my welding jacket and all that is a mortise machine where you do your mortises. Don't know if you know what a mortise machine is. When you're doing a mortise and tenons door brace, you do a mortise. You can cut it over a chisel, but that's the machine to cut it out. Pry bars. So in this part, as you go through this doorway here, this is what I call my machine shop. This is where all my main machinery is. So got a B&Q special buffer and a linisher. Great piece of kit. I've had this well over 10 years and it's still going strong. Absolutely great. So then I've got some shelves up here with all my resin stuff and all my blanks that I make, and you know, I've been putting some stuff in boxes just to keep things tidy. Again, all the blanks I've made. So yeah. Then the tiger platter coming along nicely, ready for the next job. So yeah, that's that. Then obviously the most important thing for turning, the face shield. I don't know about you guys, but I use a impact gun when I'm screwing to the face plates of my blanks, and this little impact gun from Screwfix, absolutely awesome piece of kit. Battery seems to last forever on it, and I think for an impact driver and drill you're looking about 100 quid. Really good buy. So pressure pot, sorry, which is what I converted from a spray pot. At the time when I started, I was not prepared to spend a couple of 100 quid on buying a proper pressure pot. Well, I'm still not prepared to spend a couple of 100 quid on a pressure pot. I think that thing was about £45, and it cost me another 7 quid for the pressure gauge on the top here. And I had a lot of fittings that obviously I'd had from when I was in the engineering game, so I managed to do that. So it's perhaps cost me 50 quid in all. So I really, and it does exactly the same as a £200 pressure pot. So I'm happy with that. More storage for electrical parts, machine screws, leg screws, you name it, it's there. So then we've got the Robert Sorsby Pro Edge, which I know Leona don't like. Sorry, Leona. Then I've got the Record Power 4-inch belt sander with an 8-inch disc. The only thing with that is I wish I'd have spent a bit more money and got the bigger one. That's my only thing I'm going to say with that. It's a great piece of kit, but like I say, I wish I'd have got the bigger one. So that's that. Under the bench, got a trolley there with some more bits. My angle grinders are on there and bits and bobs, more storage in there. Just show you over there. Got my work benches that I use for work and a storage box there, which has just got zip ties in it, insulation tape, spare bolts for the house and the car, things like that. So here we have a steel bandsaw that for my work, or when I first started working for myself, I used to do a lot of steel gates and railings. So I bought that and I still use it. It's a good piece of kit. It's a Clark one. Well worth the 200 quid I paid for it. It's earned every single penny of it back for me. So great piece of kit. Obviously shop hoover. Pedestal drill. It's a B&Q one. Again, I've had this 15 years. I bought this when I just after I moved into this house. So well over 15 years and still going strong. Really good variable speed pillar drill. So on this side, underneath this sheet, is my steel lathe, a proper engineering steel lathe. It's a 1960 something steel lathe. It's a self bent. It's from America, and when you look at the history on it, it was on a cruise ship, came to the UK, but the lathe was actually designed and made for doing rifle barrels. And to this day, if you turn a piece of steel in it and flip it, it's absolutely spot on true. The only thing you have to do is, because all the bearings are brass shimmed, you have to just make sure they're well oiled and keep maintaining those. But other than that, absolutely perfect. So just a little rack up there where I put offcuts of steel from the lathe, memory paper, scotch pads. Over in that corner in that toolbox is all my turning gear for the lathe, for this steel lathe. All my cutting bits, new tips and things like that. This bench here, I originally had loads of rubbish in it, so I cleared it all out and I've put some of my blanks and that in it, and was using the top as a storage area for when I was on the lathe. So what I did is I made this backboard. The reason being is that I can put my tissue on it, which I have got some, it's down there. So I put my tissue on it, I made a little mount for my spray guns, and I made this bit across the top here to put all my different grits in for the bowl sander, and that has made life so much easier. Just such a simple little board has made life so easy. For it's like, as you can see, it's so close to the lathe, you sort of just step over and get it. So that's a good, I did that and I'm really pleased with that. Cabinet full of blanks, just bits and bobs ready for the lathe and other bits and bobs. There's a few engineering, TIG welder, my TIG welder, a few engineering bits under there and a few bits there. I seem to have bags and bags of shavings that I've collected, and I think I need to start using a few. Up the top there, I've got my polishing kit. That's some more sanding pads, sort of spare sanding pads. My spirit stains from Chestnut, they're up there as well, and there's some more stains there. My sanding sheets up there. So I try and keep things in boxes so it keeps things nice and tidy and dust free really. So then we come to the lathe. All my carbines, other than obviously this one and this one. So I made this, I don't know, when I first started really, just really to stand them in there out the way. All my record power kit, that's the first kit. Turning tools I ever had. My wife bought me those for Christmas the year I started wood turning. So yeah, I'll keep those. They're really good tools, to be honest. They're not a bad tool. And then obviously the lathe. It's the record power CL4 that I use. The only difference between the 3 and the 4 is the 4's got the variable speed on it, which is really handy because you haven't got to keep changing the belt speeds. Or you haven't got to keep changing the belt, sorry, not the speeds, the belts. So I put the belt in the middle, and then as you can see, I don't know, I've got a drawer in here somewhere. as you can see, there's 5 different pulley sizes, so I just put it in the middle one, and that gives me a speed variance from, let's have a look, 27 revolutions a minute up to 2,500. So it gives me a good variance of speed. So then we've got the bowl gouges, the Robert Soulsby bowl gouges I use, which I really love those. With those and the Pro Edge, you get such a sharp finish on them. It's absolutely stunning. So really like those. So that's in the machine shop. I think I've hit everything. And then in here's a storeroom. This is all plumbing gear that I bring home from work. All this rack here is all parts I keep for the vehicles. Spare service kits. I always keep a service kit spare for each car. I've got the 2 Land Rovers. I keep a service kit for each of those, and I also keep a service kit for my daughter's car and the work van. So that's all on those racks there. My worktop jigs, car cleaning stuff, another bench grinder that I haven't got space for to get out at the moment. So, and then the blanks. A lot of these blanks are what I've cut over the last year or so. I don't know if you remember me saying I bought a load of wood from an old boy who unfortunately had dementia, so he couldn't turn no more. So a lot of it was just absolutely big sizes of block of wood. So what I've done is I spent some time cutting these into blanks. So a lot of these are what I've cut. Some cherry wood there, some oak worktop that I had left over from a job from when I cut the sink and that out. So rather than throwing it away, I've cut those into blanks. They just need rounding off. So there's all those. There's some more there. This is oak worktop that I had, that again I've done exactly the same with. This is some composite oak I had. So here's a few blanks that I've actually sort of tried to make it look a bit fancy. So yeah, so they're all my blanks, and there's some more down here as well, but I ain't going to pull those out. So yes, and then when I was cutting the wood the other day, I cut some conifer up, and I've never turned conifer, so I turned this the other night. This is a bit of conifer, so that was a bit damp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in there for a month or so and see what happens in its own shavings. And at the end of the day, if it's conifer, if it ends up duff, we'll chuck it on the fire. But it's worth a try. So yeah, so that's the workshop, and obviously 10-ton press. This just needs all clearing out. This has been a bit of a dumping ground for quite a while. So I've got all my shooting gear, all my ghillie suit and all my wets and all that all behind there. There's a cabinet there where I've got all my shooting footwear in, all my shotgun cartridges, and that's all got storage in it. All my electrical equipment, like my LED lighting and wiring and bits for the cars. And it's just, this room really needs clearing out, and this is going to be the thing I'm going to do while I'm off out, really. Might get a skip here and dump a lot of it, because up that corner especially, there is stuff that's not been touched for 2 years, so it needs to be got on. So anyway, guys, let's just turn you around. That's the shop tour. Like I say, it's nothing special, but it's a good little area. Let me just put you back in here without dropping you. So it's a good area. I'm just going to plug you in. Yeah, so it's a good area. I'm quite lucky that I've got a good size workshop, and I'm very grateful for what I've got. But saying that's like everybody, you have to work for it. You don't get it for free, do you? It's took me 30 odd years to get what I've got. So yeah. So yes, so if there's any questions you want or ask while I'm sat down here, just let me know. I don't mind asking any questions about anything. If you want to know what specific models are or whatever, then just message me or just put a comment in the chat, and I'll see if I can answer what I've got. So yeah, I enjoy being in here. I spend a lot of my time in here, and when I'm making stuff for work, whether it be cabinets, doors or whatever, then I spend even more time in there. So no, it works out really well. I was planning this year. Yes, thank you, Leona. You do work hard for it. We all work hard for what we've got. None of it is given to us. I was quite lucky that my granddad was a carpenter, and I was quite lucky that when I was younger, I had the experience to play around with woodworking tools. The only thing I didn't like to play with while he was alive was his table saw. He had a homemade table saw, which, don't get me wrong, worked perfectly well. It's just that it frightened the life out of me because it made such a loud noise. It frightened the life out of me. And yeah, so I inherited quite a bit of tooling from my granddad. But the trouble is, because I've been self-employed for so long, I've got all my own tooling. So I kept some of his stuff. I kept a lot of his stuff. A lot of the specialist stuff I kept. But we got rid of quite a bit because it was no good to me. Because when he was a carpenter, everything was electric. So it was all 110, where everything I use is all battery powered. So it's very rare I use an electric tool other than a router. Thank you, John. Yes, cuz they do frighten you. My granddad's circuit saw used to frighten the life out of me. Yeah, so like I say, everything I got, all my work tools are kept in the van. So the only power tools I keep in the van is a sliding compound saw, which again is Makita, a 4mm cut planer, which again is Makita, a Makita circular saw, and electric Bosch hammer drill, SDS drill. Everything else in the van, other than the Hoover, is battery powered. So all my drills, drivers, circular saw, battery planer, so all those are battery. So like I say, I don't use a lot of electrical equipment at all at work, and to be honest, it's safer that way, because 18 volt won't give you an electric shock to kill you, where 240 will, and you ain't got to have cables landed everywhere, so that's an extra bonus. So yeah, great. So anyway, guys, hope that has been okay. I don't want you guys to think that I've come on here trying to brag. I haven't bragged. I don't want to brag at all, because I'm just grateful for what I've got, and 99% of the stuff that is in my workshop is what I've used for work. The only thing I don't really use for work, what's in the workshop, is the wood lathe. So that's for my hobby. So I don't want you guys to think I'm bragging about it, because I'm not bragging. I know we all have the tools that we want. Sometimes the tools that we want that we can't afford. I know even I'm in that boat. Like I say, bandsaw, I'd love another bandsaw, but I can't justify going and spending £1,000 on another bandsaw. Not this particular time anyway, because with the way things are, and like I say, I've got no work, so I can't justify spending that sort of money. So I'm just going to read a few of these comments, and then I'll... Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for those kind comments. Don't freeze, Leona. I've got the heater going, so I'm nice and warm in here. It's cold in the garage, but in here it's nice and warm. When I built the workshops, I insulated it all up, so I knew I was going to be out here winter time, so I thought, a bit of insulation, you need a bit of insulation. So, guys, thank you so much for coming over. If you ever got any comments or any messages, or you know, I know a few people message me, and... Oh, hang on. Leona's got a quick question. The answer's blue. Now, if anybody ever wants any information on DIY, or obviously I'm in the building trade, so if anybody wants any help and advice on DIY or any regulations or what they can and can't do, then just message me. I'm quite happy to help everybody. Yes, if a bandsaw is single phase, it means it's 240 volts. If a machine is three phase, it means it runs on 440 volts. So you can get, if you buy a 3-phase machine, you can buy an inverter to reduce increase 240 into 440. But to be honest, it's not worth it. You're better off just buying a 240 single phase machine. You're more than welcome, Leona. More than welcome. So anyway, guys, so like I say, if anybody wants any information on building work or whatever, if you think that I can help you, then just message me. I'm more than happy to do that. Again, if anybody wants to know anything specific on any of the machines that I've shown you, then just message me again, and I'm more than happy to help. Spit out, Steve. More than happy to help. So yeah, I've been looking at second-hand bandsaws. They hold their money quite well, to be honest. And I'm quite intrigued to buy a second-hand bandsaw. The reason being is that table saw that I got. That's quite an old machine. That's 1970 something, and it's really well made. So I'm thinking, if I buy an old bandsaw, is that going to be well made like that as well? Which maybe be better than buying a new bandsaw that's not as well made. So that may be the way to go, to be honest. And obviously with a bandsaw, you might get it a bit cheaper. So it's worth having a look, worth looking into. 20-year-old, that's a SIP model. Nice. SIP, do good machinery. First compressor I had was SIP. Absolutely awesome piece of kit. Lasted for years. 250 litre, 3 horsepower SIP compressor. I bought that when I was 21, and I got rid of it 3 years ago, and I'm 48 this year. So it lasted really well. I service it every year, change the oil in it every year. I think I had to have new pressure reads in it a couple of times, but they're only a few quid, so nothing. But when I was using it, when I used to work in the engineering game, I used to work for Campbell's UK. I used to do a lot of car maintenance at weekends, because I'm a mechanic by trade, and so I used to do a lot of servicing at weekends. So the compressor would be going all weekend, and used to run like a trooper on air tools, spraying, whatever you name it on air. That used to, and most, like I say, then I used to use nearly everything air. So used to run like a trooper, and like I say, I had it, must have been 18, 19 years. And the reason I got rid of it is because the capacitor went inside the motor, and I couldn't get a spare for it, and the new motor was going to cost me nearly as much as a new compressor. So that's why I bought a new compressor, and I think I sold it as spares, to be honest, to some local guy. So no, really good machinery. SIP are good tools. Quality was used, not sure. Yeah, I think you're right there, Mike. The old tools are well made. Like I say, that table saw is really well made, all cast iron. Even the plating on the outside is quite a nice thickness. It's got to be 1.5 mil thick, so it's quite a good thickness. And I think, like we were saying, that it may be worth getting a second-hand bandsaw, because I think that'd be better made than the new ones. Don't get me wrong, the record power, I do like record power. Record power is good stuff, and the support on record power is really, really good. But like I say, a new bandsaw is going to cost me £1,000. If I can get an older one that's a better quality one for slightly less money, I'll be happy with that. And to be honest, I don't mind spending a few quid on it either, because I know it's going to be better. Right, so then guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go and try and get this bowl finished. Yeah, get the bowl finished. Motivation, Steve, motivation. Thank you for everybody who commented on the bowl I put on a little short video the other night on Facebook and Instagram. I'm not 100% sure what it is. A couple of people messaged me and said you, and then Leona messaged me and said it was Apple. So I'm still not 100% sure what it is, but what I might do is I might I've got another piece. I might take a picture of the bark, because I know a lot of woods are identified by their bark. So I might take a picture of their bark and then see what people say. Yeah, that's what I said, because I thought Leona's, I agree with you. I don't think it's you, because you has more of an orangey yellow colour to it than that is. I'll just show you, I'll just move you back over and I'll show you. It's in the lathe now, so if I show you in the lathe now, see, I've sand and put a light on. See, I've sand and sealed this now, and I would have thought if that was you, that would have been more of an orangey colour, but as you can see, it's like a light brown colour, and there's quite a lot of white in it. So I don't think this is you by any means. But I'm quite intrigued, like Leona said, it may be a fruit tree. It may be apple. Don't know, I've never turned apple, so I wouldn't know what apple wood looks like. But I might get on the internet and have a bit of a scan and see if I can find some images of apple. And see what I can find. But I'll just quickly show you the other piece of the... So I've got another piece under here somewhere. Here. So can you see... See, this is the bark of it. Now, to me, that don't look like yew bark. Yeah, that might be a good idea, Leona. Ask Wayne. But that's the bark of it, and it's quite a smooth bark, a light green colour. So, yeah, I might send Wayne a picture and see. So that's apple. Okay, Leona. No, I know. I don't see. This is a piece of yew, I think. Now, again, you got the orange in there. So that's what made me think it wasn't you, because there's nowhere that colour in that wood. So that's what made me think it wasn't you. But thank you for that's cedar, I think. All right, okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll message Wayne and see what he comes up with. So anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. So thank you very much for popping over, and thank you very much for the company, and I'll speak to you guys later. So everybody be safe, take care, and I'll speak to you guys later.